Searching up for Tower Defense Simulator is gonna give you, well, Tower Defense Simulator, but also all of this. And although this may not really be an original idea, I decided to scroll down today to find some very obscure remakes of Tower Defense Simulator and games that don't even resemble TDS at all. And without spoiling too much, there was some pretty interesting things that I encountered in this video. So watching all the way through, leaving a like and subscribing would mean the world to me. Anyways, no more wasting time on the intro, let's get started. Of course, right off the bat, I searched up Tower Defense Simulator. I obviously saw that as the first result, but that was clearly not what I was going to be doing today. First thing I decided to do was scroll all the way down, but then I realized that there was not really that many Tower Defense Simulator games down there. So I went back up and decided to search for TDS instead. After searching TDS, it looked a lot more like it. There was a lot more TDS related stuff. And now it was time to go looking. First game I found that looked appealing was TD Hardcore because it had an image of a void, which is not even in Tower Defense Simulator to begin with. I clicked on the game and then I saw a crappy Mr. Beast Squid Game photo as the thumbnail. The description read the harder it gets, and this was just it. I had to try this game out. I joined the game and I was greeted by this insanely modern looking GUI. There was not a single tower image, and when I tried placing down the first tower, which costed $250, the War Machine, I was absolutely shocked to find out that I was not rich enough, even though I had enough money to afford 10 of them. After that, I decided to place down an Outlaw, which was in definitely the correct position, but after I placed it down, it realized its mistake and sat back upright and started shooting down the enemies. I then placed down a Gladiator because, I actually couldn't tell what I was placing down, but I had enough money for it, and it was honestly kind of weak. So after surviving the first wave, I got a ton of round cash and decided to place down another tower. I accidentally ended up placing down the sentry while trying to click on a different tower, but the sentry was kind of strong, so it wasn't that big of a loss. But the Outlaw on the ground and the Gladiator were able to take down the rest of the enemies, so I was fine on this wave. I was looking through some other towers, and yeah, they're just pretty much a bunch of random towers from TDS. I then placed down the Commando, and it turned out it was extremely strong. It was shredding all the enemies with ease, and there was nothing for me to worry about. After that, I was speaking to my microphone, which was muted the whole time, which is why I'm doing a voiceover. Oh god, there's gonna be so much editing, you better like the video. But either way, I was saying that, this game, it's alright. It's sort of TDS related. Let's go see what else we can find. I scrolled down even more and found another game called TDS, but it was restricted. So I went back to searching and found Bloons Tower Defense 5. This was nothing related to TDS, but it costed 25 Robux. And with a description like this, Ninja Monkey, Sniper Monkey, 8 powerful upgrades, all of this seemed pretty sick. So I decided to spend my precious Robux, and you better use star code E, and I unlocked the join button. I was definitely not concerned about the 61 dislikes. When I spawned in, I was greeted with this, which doesn't really look like Bloons Tower Defense 5, but it's fine. I was just waiting. I was waiting for a while. And then eventually it loaded, and this was my Bloons Tower Defense 5 experience. Not exactly living up to my expectations in the 25 Robux that I spent. The balloons could kill me, and I had to fight them with a sword. So yeah, this is kind of like a soda simulator, but very poorly made. But there was a whole map to explore, so I decided to go check out some stuff. I walked over to the door behind the waterfall, only to find out that I couldn't unlock it. I tried to use shift lock to look through the wall, but there was literally nothing on the other side that I could see, so I went in a different direction. I dropped down to some platform down below, and then I stepped on one of these blue teleporters, and it teleported me into whatever this is. There was nothing to do here, so I stepped right back out, but it sucked me back in. So I went back out, and guess what? I was back in again. But finally, after escaping that death trap of a teleporter, I decided to head down this ominous looking tunnel, and I found a very cool looking entrance to a place that literally led to a teleporter, which led me right back, so there was literally no point in me going down there. I climbed back up because I was done there, and I decided to cross the bridge. There were some balloons, but I avoided them. On top of the bridge, I saw this weird monster who started telling me stuff that made absolutely no sense, and so I decided to give him a response. DAG. I have no idea what DAG means, but I just said it. And then there was this invisible character that I saw and decided to speak to him too, so I asked him if he made the Google Tycoon, and well, to be fair, I've never played the Google Tycoon, but he's the creator of it, so that's pretty cool. I continued walking along some weirdly placed terrain, and I found these guys. I was apparently able to kill them with my sword, and then the penguin made a funny noise. But this was still not very Bloons TD5 related. I saw a big purple airship, which is reminiscent of the bad balloon. The bad is in BTD6, but who cares? And as I walked closer to it, I realized it had a gun, meaning that it is definitely not a bad balloon, because a bad does not have a gun. After dropping down on this ice platform, I stepped on whatever this thing is, and then my character ascended to some sort of form, and I was teleported inside of a cave, where I was immediately attacked by an enemy robot. I was not expecting it, and I took some damage, but I killed it, and I was good to go. Oh, I stepped on the sword, and it did a lot of damage to me. But that was the least of my concerns. Now I was ready to get going through this backrooms-like maze, and I just kept going, and kept going, and kept going, and then oh my god, I found a temple. I walked up the temple, and then I was immediately greeted with an interesting decision, left or right. Because there were sparkles on the left teleporter, I decided to step on it, and I was immediately attacked by another enemy robot. While trying to fight back, I stepped on the teleporter and got pushed right back into the temple. Then I went back in to show him who's boss, and he was gone. But now that I knew where the teleporter took me, I wanted to go back and check where the other one would bring me. And after doing that, I realized that that would just bring me outside the temple, which wasn't really useful for me, but it kind of makes sense since there's no way to exit it otherwise. So I went onto the sparkly teleporter and kept walking down. There were some spikes and there was a pretty big jump, but thankfully I was able to make it using shift lock. There was another pit of spikes, but I noticed there were some transparent black blocks, and I wanted to see if I could step on them, but that was a mistake. I died and lost all my progress. I was back at spawn, but there was no way I was willing to spend any more time going to look through those back rooms again to see what was going on, so I decided to move on to the next game. This was very well not worth my 25 Robux, not Bloons TD5 at all, so I gave it a nice and honest dislike. I went back and started looking for more TDS games, and then I found a very eye-catching one with an Among Us character on it. After joining it, I realized that I was pretty much in the same randomly generated terrain crap as last time, and there was just a bunch of random models from TDS. Also stared at this Nico DJ for a bit, and I'll let you wonder why, because I was saying some things in my microphone, but you very well know it's muted, so you have no idea what it is. Up to you to speculate. After that, I also found some billboards which had literally a Roblox studio tutorial on them. This just goes to show that the creator took pretty much no effort, just plopped down some models and literally uploaded the game just like that. I also found this cool dinner table, but I had nobody to eat dinner with. And then I went into a house. There was a fireplace, and I had an instinct to just, hop into the fireplace. And then I found out that, well, I was kind of stuck and I couldn't burn alive, so I was disappointed. And after hopping out, I noticed that the fire was a little bit bigger, and after stepping outside, I noticed I lit the whole chimney on fire. Before I was caught for burning down a house, I quickly left the game and was already searching for the next one. I found this classical defense simulator game, which did look like an old TDS remake, so I decided to join it, and I was greeted with the old lobby. This is the alpha version lobby. So yeah, I don't even remember this because I started playing only when the Gladiator came out. I grabbed my scout and hopped into one of the elevators. There was a very high effort button down there that I could press if I wanted to leave, but I wasn't doing that. So I joined the game. I was kind of expecting a crappy remake, so I clicked the scout and wanted to place it down on the road, just like pretty much every other non-well-made tower defense game remake allows. But then I was surprised that there is an actual working placement system. So I placed down the scout and upgraded it. That turned out to be a waste of money because it was literally just range, so when I had enough money for my next scout, I placed it down. Now, I was saying some pretty nice things about this game. I was impressed that it actually worked, and I was also saying how they should probably team up with the Retro TDS, although I don't know if this game just straight up stole stuff from Retro TDS, but if the developers legitimately worked on this, then yeah, they did a great job, because it's really good at recreating the feel of the old TDS. There were even speedy enemies and slow enemies, so I knew knew that this game definitely had a lot of effort put into it. But Retro TDS is still better because, well, you know, they have all the modes and the whole system is working well. So I was about to end the video, but then I saw a game called Sandbox, and it had a TDS logo on it, which only could mean one thing: a sandbox mode of TDS. I joined the game, and sure enough, it was an absolutely chaotic version of sandbox mode. Now, this was literally just stolen models from TDS, and there were just a bunch of random enemies spawning in. We even got the nuclear fallen king, but let's be real here, this made absolutely no sense to me, so I left the game. And there was a link in the description that said nuclear update. And nuclear update could only mean nuclear fallen king, and then I joined this extremely disappointing place. Not a single thing was working, and when I tried entering hardcore, I got a badge for literally just entering the portal, even though it attempted to teleport me to a place that didn't even exist. There was literally nothing else to do in this game, so I would say that's about enough to conclude my journey here through all of these quote-unquote TDS games. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and use StarCode E because I spent those Robux on BTD5, and yeah, see ya!